Hello Collective, thanks for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. So, as always, I just want to say thank you to those who are continuing to support my channel and welcome to those who are new. I am just building on the energy for all of us, not just those that I'm focused on in the collective that are supporting my channel or watching it, for everyone. I'm extending this reading for everyone, so that's meaning those that are just finding me or those that are looking in from the outside, just curious to see what exactly is my standpoint. It may be a little bit confusing for some at this time. So I want to say this reading is not a digging out of anyone or anything, and it's not a witch hunt. I'm going to be as non-biased, I'm non-judgmental with what's coming forward next. So I'm talking to those who are a little bit on the fence and just needing some more things to come forward in order to make their own discernment of the information that they're sifting through. And that's all my intentions are and always have been with these readings. I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just showing you a demonstration of the guidance and information that I access and how I'm able to maintain my inner peace and protect my mental health. Many of you out there are struggling because your energy levels are low, because you've been in a heightened state of excitement or stress or worry or just a confusion. That is such a zapper of energy that I just want to bring forward a way for you to give yourself a little bit of a respite for a minute. I'm not trying to undo what you believe in or what you stand for. I'm not coming for that. I just want to find a place that we can all be neutral and sift through where the lines of confusion are, or the what's veered who and us and all of us off on different paths or whatever, when we've all been on the belief that we are heading in the same direction, which we're on our ascension process. And that's what I'm bringing forward, using my abilities in the way that I know best. And I respect that you all have your own ways of getting your own information. So this is just an alternative. We've got trapped in fear. So it's a good place for us to start. I just want to say quickly, thank you to those who have given me donations and shown your appreciation. It's a beautiful surprise when I see it, and I'm truly grateful. So just needed to say that. So trapped in fear is a place that none of us want to be. My feel is that that is where we're moving away from. All of the shit that's hitting the fan on the macro is everything that we've been calling in. We know structures and everything need to collapse before they can get better. And without digging out, but in a positive sense, let's also take Christian 21, Big Brain Teaching, as our blueprint and our example, so that we can see how it aligns, and we're looking for where did it veer off track. I'll say this now. You would be hard pressed to find somebody that meets Christian 21 in person or interacts with him and they do not get on with him. I'm saying that. But the teachings and what's been playing out recently, I'm not into that. Something's gone wrong and it's not putting him in a good light. It's leaving people in a state of confusion. And so I feel that he's emotionally and mentally vulnerable and has been. So we need to just look at what's going on here. Like I said, it's not a tearing down, but as well, it's not a witch hunt. So for those that are open and interested to find common ground here, because there's a lot of us collecting together, there is a common ground. And when you look at the bigger perspective of things, this is the message that's being pushed out that we're all still not getting. If you are squabbling and fighting among yourselves, you will be placed in the hangman position. So the way I interpret the hanged man card in tarot, which is the person hanging upside down, they're not struggling and whatever, they are contemplating because they are being held. I see it as the spirit realm place us on pause until we are able to look at things from another perspective. When you take that card and look at it, they're not trying to struggle to get down and they've been lynched up or whatever. It's not about that. It's about seeing something from a higher perspective. Those that are stead firm on their belief, the way they see it, I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to those that are in a position that they are ready to hear, receive something else to shift the stagnant energy of where they're currently at. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Not talking to an individual person here, I'm talking to a collective of people that there's only something going to be mixed up within these messages that you just need to hear that bit to create the shift that you need. So when you're looking like, oh, she's got a little bit of details wrong, or she's added her own opinion, or she's got her whatever, don't worry about that side. You just take what is needed for you. You will feel it. You will feel it. You're only watching this because your spirit guides, your team, your galactic families are directing you because there's something you're needing to hear. Many of us are missing the point. So we're just starting afresh and let's take a look at where things have veered off. It's not a finger pointing, it's just let's see what we're working with here. We'll use the Christian 21 teachings. As everyone is agreed, at the beginning, we all were into it, all of us, because it was fresh, it was new, it was everything everyone was wanting and waiting for. That much he knew. Whereas what I'm seeing is as we've moved forward, not only has the pressure been piled and piled and piled on his shoulders, there's that expectation living on every word that comes out of his mouth. What do we do next? Or when is it this? When is it that? He doesn't have all of the answers. I do remember a time that he tried to encourage you to go off and think for yourselves or do your own bits or whatever. But because he's got that energy, because there's nothing that you've seen like him, and you've resonated and attached and connected to that lovable side, that you want more and more of him. And that is how it works. And no one's taking that away from you. but taking a look from his side in a protection of his mental health and his inner peace. Finances have got in the way. You all know he was, I don't want about money, blah, 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 and that's got in the way. I've always said, if you're doing drugs or anything to alter your state of conscious to be able to access that higher realm knowledge, you can absolutely access it. That's why people do it. That's why you've got all of the ancestors. It's within our history, it's there. But here today in our society, the way that everything is manipulated, synthetic, or there's adding of this or whatever, it's just not the same conditions, is it? As being out in the desert or being in a tribal community without internet and electricity and all of those side of things. We've got to get things into perspective. If you are developing your abilities and you're doing that to access it, you're only going to get so far. That's where the shift happened in my perspective from what I'm seeing looking in. We know he's gone a little bit rogue, but what would be expected other than that? He can get it back on track, but we want transparency. There is no shame in holding your hands up and saying, I got it wrong. There's more respect comes from somebody that can stand up and say that. So with that, I'm saying, let's also scrap the timelines. We're all sick of that. Time. It doesn't happen, hasn't happened. I'll hold my hand up. I've proved my point about your timelines are wrong. And if you can just be open to that, like I asked before, if you can just be open to that perspective for a minute, and let's just say, this year is going to be more playing out. If you give yourself that space to say, this year is more playing out, as much as it's like, oh, thinking, oh, I don't want to hear it. I was waiting for yesterday, today, and in a minute. If we are starting from just the same page, everybody, and we were using as an example here today, that we're writing off the timelines, and we're just saying, give us a minute to get our brains together, get grounded, and get back on track. If we give ourselves that couple of months, and so it's going to fly by. We can all see the chaos and the shit that's happening outside and around. You know, the bits that are the fabricated storylines to invoke the emotions and the whatever. But it is the micro macro. It's happening everywhere. But we all don't want that. We need to be showing our example version of, if we're all going to be blending in with different races, walks of life, and being given access to connecting with the spirit realm and all of those, everything, all the things that is the magical side that we're dreaming of, we have to demonstrate that we can do it here amongst ourselves first, or you're placed on pause. We all know that where we're wanting, wishing, dreaming, and trying to resonate with the ascension of New Earth, somewhere better than all of this shit show that's going on, micro and macro, that what we will not be associating with, taking with us, or anything, are those that are intentionally trying to hurt and harm and do damage. We want harmony, we want peace. It may be airy-fairy of wishing of that, maybe so, but it doesn't need to be oh, they're so fucking stupid, let's cause a war and make them know from that way. It doesn't need to be that way. Why would ETs that are coming to help assist, not save, assist us in our ascension process because it benefits the galactic on every level? Not only are they excited for us to finally get to experiencing everything that they know is there, waiting, ready. We've got to show accountability, responsibility, and that is why the message always is, it starts with yourself, it starts within. Because if we can't get along with all of these little groups here, which we're all entangled, then think of it outside, further, further, further. There's no fucking hope. We've got temptation. When you are in a low, not vibration, when your mood, your emotions, your everything are low, it is easy for dark force entities, let's just say, whether it's people form around you, or whether it's spirit realm, or whether it's dimensional whatever, to block our progress, whatever way you want to see it. These cards just depict that energy. It's temptation. If you're not able to control your own minds, your thoughts and actions, there needs to be finding a way that you get assistance to help you control, maintain that, and get it back in line, get it back in balance. Tests are put in our way, sometimes by our spirit team, by ourself, our higher self, and by the ETs, because it's when we really do get to that point, there's going to be things of, are you able to be bought out by finances? Are you still living materialistically? Are you really prepared to be able to detach and let it all go? That's been a message that's been coming forward, but the timing has been put on it. So when we're saying remove the timing, and again, it's own that we've got that bit wrong. Don't be flippant with your answers of, yeah, well, he would be believing in timings anyway. No. Timings do count because that's how our society works. So we do need to be moving to a clock. Dark forces are around us. It's not that it's controlling our life or whatever. We're a lot stronger than we give each other credit for. We're not the enemies with each other. There's just miscommunication that's going on. We've got emotional withdrawal. This is the thing that is paining many of us, because there's that confusion that's making people pull away. I don't know what to do, or have I got it wrong, or abandonment issues, I'm going to be left behind, or no one understands me, or I don't know what the hell I'm doing, or I thought that we wouldn't be here by now, and I haven't been planning, I haven't been working towards a future, and now I'm out of energy, I'm out of ideas, I'm isolated from friends and family, and now I just don't know what to believe in. It's in this moment of emotional withdrawal that you're by yourself, isolated, so you can hear yourself think. But like within this picture, there's water there that is representing the emotions, and the water's coming in. You're not drowning. You're being pushed to a point where you have no option, in the sense it's free will, we get that bit, but you're focused on something that the frustration is, it's not working, it's not happening, it's not turning out how I knew in my gut that it would be. With this water coming in as you're here alone and reaching out to your cosmic family, show me the way, show me the answer, show me a sign. In that moment, you are pushed to a point that you're being told or guided, you have to let go of the mini controls that you're having. You're in a place that you're not driving this ship, riding this ship, sailing this ship. You're not in this. This bit's not you. All you've got to do is go with the flow. Keep questioning everything, because it's such a shitstorm of misinformation, of who can trust, can't trust, or who's misleading me. It's nothing. It's that unsteady ground, that fear of failure, of getting it wrong, of being left behind, of all of those fears have to be purged. They've got to come up and come out. That's why it's let it come up and let it go. It's going to be okay. That is the message the Christian 21 teachings have told you. It's going to be okay. The misconfusions, or misconfusions, the wrong word, I know, but misunderstandings, the confusions is that I feel he's trying to make you aware that there's going to be uncomfortable things that you're seeing, but it isn't the way that it's going to be. He's condensed things down to maybe try and keep you holding on, because he knows in a minute there will be change. He's not receiving information at the minute. He will be placed on pause until he is able to reevaluate the way that he is accessing his information. But that's his personal stuff. That's the healing that is ignited. He's done a lot and he has woken you up. But it's everybody, not just one single person that's here to save humanity and they take all the credit for themselves. It's always been all of us. And that's what gets people's back up as well, because with this stressing that there's only one way, only one path, only those watching me, only those listening to what I say, that's where the problem and the issues come in. That's the ego wants control, because there's that sense of power. There's that seeing that they're speaking, people are listening and hanging ready to act on what's being said. That is what's needed, but that's why there's the difference between a true leader and someone that is tempted by the test. It's can you be in front of all of the different types of weed of whatever, or mind altering substance of your choice, but yet you can put it down, you can step away from it? Can you be in receipt of lots and lots of finances and still not let it taint you? Can you be in your emotions and separate, I'm triggered by that, but yet I still need to stay neutral. When you're stepping into a place of responsibility, like all content makers on all platforms, there is a sense of responsibility that is a given. You're not taught it. That's why you have the restrictions. Yeah, we know how fucking tight they are and the manipulation. I'm not trying to tell people things they already know. That's the basics. But there is that level of ethics, integrity that should also come with it. If you're leading people to be in a heightened state of stress and anxiety, prolonged, it is doing more damage than it is good. My concern are those of you that are now running out of steam. It's like I'm almost out of energy, that I wouldn't be able to do anything if it was now or whatever. I am literally praying to be healed, to be taken away now. You've got to just shift and adjust something for a minute. What if you did have to get to the end of the year? Let's just say hypothetically. Already you will feel, yes, the disappointment, but next you will feel a sense of relief. Just in that visualize, that imagination moment alone, you will feel a sense of relief, because the timeline marker has been just given you a little bit longer. And that lets you know it's because there's still some bits you need to do. There's still some stuff, but now you're on it. You're on it. And that was the purpose of what you've been experiencing now. You may have been awake forever and a day, but you go back into a lull, because it's the same thing. It's the waiting, it's the waiting, it's the waiting. It is zapping the energy. You've been pouring the energy to build someone else up, but they've not known what to do with that. There isn't that equal give and take. There's no exchange. There's nothing being poured back in. It's just being siphoned off. That's nobody's problem, nobody's whatever. I'm not saying about finger pointing. I'm just saying it is a lot of responsibility, and if you don't work with energy, as he doesn't, if you don't know how to transmute that pain that you're throwing people into, he should be able to absorb that from you and keep projecting it out. The reason there is a distortion is because he truly is one half of a whole. Everything needs to be balanced, which is why we have the waiting game. The waiting is over, the waiting is still in play. Whatever way you want to take it, remember, whatever is resonating is going to be a stepping stone to open up more for you as you start processing the stuff you've heard in this message today. You've got the sand is at the bottom and it's almost run out. That is the state that you've been put in because you've been hearing a message for a long time, and it's like, yeah, I can feel it's bubbling, it's bubbling, it's bubbling. When it's really, you need to reverse it. And so the sand is very much still there and it's filtering down slowly. You're not waiting for the whole of the everything to until the last person wakes up and fucking grasps the concept of what's going on here. You're all stuck. That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on. It's if you are still all different groups that are all moving to the same end goal, in your own individual groups and beliefs. How the hell can you not align and get along? There is not just one way. It's about blending and mixing, and that is how it's been for eons, as you all know, as you've been looking into stuff. It's not all, oh, love and light, rainbows and unicorns and whatever. That's why we've got that fighting side. But we only come forward in conflict because there's a stubborn ass somewhere that it's not being heard. It's a different frequency. What we're finding on the small micro level is we're all saying the same thing, but it's like, well, no, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. You're not, but yet you're all saying the same thing. No one's right. No one's wrong. It's all the same. It's that bit that is laughable to the above. It's like, they're going to get it in a minute. They're going to get it in a minute. When we start mixing in, taking advantage of people's not knowing the game, the system, how it, and taking advantage of that, that's where we've got a problem. That's where we're weeding out, fine-tuning. Doesn't mean people have to be rejected. It means they need to be more transparent. They need to take ownership. Because how can you forgive things or move on if people are burying their head in the sand and they believe that it's all okay? I've done nothing wrong. My feel is, and I've said this before, Christian 21 has been thrown under the bus and put up as a sacrifice. He's then passing on and pushing onto someone else. We know Mel and Ed has been under the bus many a time, but he bounces back. My feel is there is an enabling going on there, a manipulation, because when they are in that heightened sense of out of it, you got to be out of your nut to understand all of this. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But you're not fucking doing any favours for humanity if no one can decipher what the fuck you're going on about. Yeah? It needs to be more simple. It doesn't need to be difficult. It's not a whole decoding. You're not in 2025 and you've got some kind of fucking decoded system Bible book that you've got to... Who the hell do you think you actually are? You've got to stop seeing each other as imbeciles. We've got to get back in our prams, and all the toys that have been thrown out and are on the floor, just fucking leave them there. It doesn't matter. What we're looking at is moving forward. Don't all have to get on with each other, like each other, and holding hands and singing and dancing. Shit's got real. We can see what's going on, but we are all still moving forward. No one's being left behind, because you're not getting a magic wand that heals you and bounces you to wherever. You need to learn how to access it, and the only way to do that is to learn it for yourself, and then you teach someone that's vulnerable how to empower themselves. That's why nothing's going on. That's why everybody's feeling stuck, because there's a point that is a valid point that's being missed. Practice what you preach. Teach others how to do what you can do. But stop being so biased to there's one way. There's many ways to the same place. That's the soul journey, the soul experience. Many of you, it's like you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Don't need to do that, learn that lesson again. You already know. But you may have been sent someone that crosses your path that doesn't know. Doesn't mean they're fucking, oh, NPC, or they're dumb, they're stupid, or you're the whole enlightened one. It's nothing about that. It means if they have crossed into your experience, if you are aware of them, if you are looking at them and you're making any kind of judgment in any way, you are looking at yourself right there in that moment. So help them. Because you are going to need it, are going to need it further down the line. You just can't see that yet. We're in the tidying up, closing down old obsolete timelines here. We're in the healing process. Just for the purposes of this reading, I'm saying let's just move our timeline marker to the end of the year to give us a bit of breathing space so we can explore what it is that we're working with here. If you're exposing people to horrors and pinning their eyes wide open and they've got to look at it, you need to enforce some kind of support structure to go with that. And I'm not seeing that. It's what's getting my back up. And yes, your pets will go with you. And yes, if you are open to the way that I'm putting it across today, your family that are half asleep or fully asleep or whatever will be going with you as well. Because as you're treating those as you deserve to be treated, it is a powerful energetic vibration that is contagious. You should be getting off of your group calls and interactions and be buzzing, not feeling deflated. Maybe with the family and friends, it's like it's painful for them to see you not wanting to live life carrying on, because that's how you're coming across, many of you. How must it feel for your families to say, oh, I'm not planning for Thanksgiving because we're not going to be here, or I'm not going to be here? Do you see why there is a stigma being placed on that type of thing that you're standing firm against? Do you feel that you're transitioning to 5D and higher dimensions, which many already are in and out and all sorts? You're exercising your abilities right now. But do you feel that you're going to transition to that bit, but yet you're not continuing to co-create with the universe? That you're not still building things, or there's not new things to explore and do and learn and experience what the soul is? Once we've come out of this part into the next part, that's it, the soul's done and it's got nothing else to do. You've got to keep keeping on with it. If your brain can't imagine and can't fantasize, desire, can't dream of, then what are you transitioning into? You're talking of new earth and it's going to be like this. Okay, so the environment may well be set up, but what you going to do? You're going to sit on your ass here and you're going to sit on your ass there. What? You're going to say hello to your galactic families. Oh my God, it's you. I didn't realise you would have made it. You was an asshole at school. Once you've got your hellos out of the way, then what you doing? You're floating all around into other galaxies, and what are you taking with your representation? You're being watched. We're all being watched. Just as we're all watching each other. It's like we've been through all of that, but yet here we were able to still all blend together. One's got their way, they're dealing with that, and those that are into that type of teachings, knowledge and whatever, they'll carry on with that. That's okay, but they don't need to be ostracized, the same as whatever. No one needs to be. I've got messages teaching, not teachings, but messages that have come forward that told us you don't need to know all of. That's why I don't know all about big brain teachings, because it's not my area. Doesn't mean to say I repel it or I'm not following the whole mass of what it needs to be. It's part of a piece that goes within the whole. I'm focused on my bit and that works for me, and then I can bring. We don't need to learn every single bit of it, because that is by design. It's by design. No one knows it all, because we're supposed to be working together. There's no point me rejecting what you've spent years and years studying, learning, training, living your life by that model, that mode, that blueprint, and it works for you. You're stood in my path. We're interacting today and it's worked for you. It doesn't make sense for me to dismiss your way because it's not my way. It does not make sense. So let's take a look. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, Ten of Pentacles in reverse, Devil in the upright, Ace of Swords in the upright, and the Magician. We could say dark forces are at play, let's just say. And it's not to start taking it all, oh, we're going back to witches and cauldrons and devils and whatever. But if you're believing in ETs, then there is that counterbalance. There is always a lower vibration to a higher vibration. We already have said or acknowledged within this reading that where we're going to New Earth, all of us that want to, that we're not taking those that hold no remorse over taking a life or damaging or tearing down or whatever. Just don't feel any of us are in that kind of group. Yeah, we've probably done things and we probably still will, but that's our own judgment when the time comes. That's not now, and that's not for anyone to make of us. That's our own personal stuff. But when we look at the devil type energy, that is what we all can say, that's a fucking wrong'un. That's not us, is it, collective? Whatever your interests are into. We've got here the Hanged Person. but it's upside down, it's in the reverse. So what that is saying, that as we're moving forward, yes, there are people that are going to have watched this, that something's going to go in and it's going to resonate. Only you will know what that is, because only you know where you're at and what's struggling or what you needed to hear or whatever it is. But in the upright, it's saying you're on pause from the universe until you are able to take a look from a higher perspective, a different perspective, and recognize you're not trapped, you're not stuck, you are able to get down at any time, that you are already enlightened. It's just that you're missing something that is vital. So you'll wait there because there's more information that needs to unfold to give you a clearer perspective. We're not moving forward with confusion. That's what's going on outside, isn't it? The media, the war, the things of whatever. And just on that note, something that has just been brought to mind. Energy speaks, that much we know. Energy doesn't lie, that much we know. Speaking words out of your mouth is a form of spells. If you can speak something into existence, then you are working with the energy of the archetype of the magician. You're manifesting, you're co-creating with the universe. That doesn't know whether you like it or don't like it. It is just picking up the vibrational frequency and the intention and the passion of what's coming out of your mouth at the time. It depends on various factors to how it sits and how it takes form and then comes into reality. That's on the positive aspect. But if the energy of the universe, or whatever it is that you call that energy for yourselves, if it doesn't know the difference of good or bad, because it's all just the same, think about this for a minute. When you are coming from a place of frustration, you're coming in the vibration of fear, anxiety, and a little bit chaos, let's just say, chaotic emotions inside. When you keep doing the mimed signaling of pressing a button, take a minute now to think. Forget about what context you're actually saying as you're doing that, like jokey or whatever, but then think of it from a different perspective. Think of it like, are you still feeding into the energy of causing war, seeing war, because there's an expectation that on our timeline at 3 p.m. there's going to be a war, and then if we can all gather in the hallway at 5 p.m. because there's going to be a beautiful light show with all of the fake alien invasion, you just don't want to miss it. You're going to be scared out of your wits, but it's going to be okay because they are taking you up. The magnet will probably come across about 2 a.m. So get yourself to bed and get ready. Why are you putting out the signal unless it's a subliminal message? Push the button, push the button. Do you honestly feel that the extraterrestrials that are here to assist us, that have not only just watched all of the ancestors, everything, have annihilated their self? We've had to go back through the motions because we couldn't get it together and we were running before we could walk, and we pressed the button in whatever other symbolic terms it was and fucking wiped ourselves out. That everyone's just been, and you're on about, oh, we've been waiting for ages. You've been waiting for ages. Do you know how laughable that probably is when you're hearing it out in the galaxy echoing? They reckon they've been waiting ages. Why are you symbolically putting out the intention for someone, anyone, to push any button? Think about that and make of it what you will. When we're turning it this way, it's the pennies dropped. You're stood up straight. You're almost in like a yogic pose, let's say. You're balanced, you're grounded, you know, you've been enlightened, something's clicked. Here is the Seven of Swords. Lying, cheating, stealing, deceitful is what it's interpreted as normally. But also it means that there is a need to be strategic. It's coming from a place of fear of someone ruining the plans or seeing what you're doing or stealing your ideas or whatever. We're trying to leave that behind. It's got to begin with trust. I don't feel Christian 21 has been deceiving you. However that is received as I'm saying it, I feel that his ordinary self, ordinary like all of us, has just been misled, and himself possibly is feeding from the false light and passing it on. Now, that doesn't dismiss all of the everything, and like I said, I'm not tearing nothing down, but what I'm saying is when you recognize it, you are able to adjust and maneuver. There is no you're moving past or you're switching lanes or whatever, and you've got a whole line of people watching you walk past, laughing, giving it, ha ha ha, they got it wrong, here, have some humble pie. There's none of that going on. It's like, yay, we respect those that can put their hand up and say, I got it wrong, or I made a mistake, or I made a miscalculation or a judgment, or whatever it may be. The power comes within recognizing that you're at a wall or a dead end, or something's not flowing like it should be, and being able to be fluid and flexible and change direction. Fuck what people think. You're following your own higher compass. Maybe that is the test. The test is, can you hear us? Because you're not listening, so how can we do anything but place you here until you hear us? We've got the Empress in reverse. We're needing to nurture each other. Once we're nurturing each other, beautiful things start to happen. Wishing well for others, not just your group, not just your camp, not just what you're into. Lessons aren't learnt yet. And it's not, oh, you still got to learn, you still got to learn. Don't doubt that how highly intelligent you all are, because it is a known thing. Not like fucking the dumbass of the species or the galactic or whatever. That's not the case. Yeah, we may have been manipulated, dumbed down, or all of that over time. But like I'm saying, we're seeing signs of it here right now. There's things that are being, the temptations put in front of us that we just aren't able to have that strength of willpower to pull ourselves away from. Everything is okay if it's in moderation. That we've heard for time. You can tap into this, tap into that, and do what the fucking hell you like. But when you can't step away from it, when you can't pull back from it, when it consumes you, when you are addicted to what's the next bit or this or that, and when you're reliant on it, you've taken a misstep, and you will generally, most likely, need assistance to break that spell and help guide you back. Place that into any situation, circumstances, because it's another programming that is embedded deep. Don't speak about something, keep it 7 of Swords under wrap, behind closed doors and whatever. Do not ask for help. Asking for help is a weakness. That is a programming we're trying to undo. How can you unify if you don't have a way of helping each other? How can you contain so much knowledge and information and think someone else is empty and their life experience don't count and aren't going to work? It's about equal exchange. And until we get rid of this fucking stagnation, this judgment on each other, this who's better, who's not, who's right, who's fucking wrong shit, until we clear that, we can't start on the same page. That's why, whatever's going on out there, I'm saying the information that I receive, if you resonate with any of it on any level, I'm saying I am not in a heightened state of anxiety, worry, and not saying it's all panic stations, but you're all saying, oh, forget about the timings, but yet you're waiting for it to happen tomorrow. Is that not a contradiction? That's why manifesting don't work. It's like, I'm forgetting about it, but I'm still seeing that it's not here yet. I mean, even reading that energy is a little bit confusing, is it not? What message are you sending out? I want peace, but you're projecting the energy of push a button, push a button, push a button. We want this all over. Do you? Do you really? Because maybe that's where I'm getting confused. Maybe I am seeing that we're all heading in the same way. We're all wanting the same thing. But yet, in the background, we've got fuckers that are trying to undo the good work. Because this is where people need to start being a bit more transparent. Because it's coming on top for those that are continuing to hinder the process. And that's where I'm stepping forward with that, whether it's fucking liked or not. That's all of us, collective, individually, and the more that we unify. Not every fight is ours. Not everything is for us to fix and heal and do or whatever, but we all hold our own individual strength. We've got to recognise it in each other, and we've got to point out each other's strengths, not weaknesses. If you identify a weakness in someone, then you're being told by your spirit team, by your higher self, by your galactic family, if you're spotting a weakness that is so fucking glaringly obvious to you, then you have been placed in a position to heal that person, encourage that person, empower that person, with the weakness that is standing out for you, because what you're seeing is a moment in time, in history, in the future, in that moment that you were that person. Do something about it in that moment. Everyone loves everyone. It's not the case at the moment. This is why the Two of Cups is in reverse, because it's still not gelling. We've got females that are trying to take over the masculine's side, and I'm not meaning that with the whole gender going down there. I'm on about just the cut and dry of tarot has no gender, let's be clear. But we've got people demasculating those that are the men and bringing forward that masculine balance. And then you've got the females or the males that are embodying that female energy, and also the females that are being torn down for their strength. We need to find a balance. It's nothing about gender. When you transition, you are energy, you're not a gender. They do have more of a energetic masculine tone or feminine tone, but you're knowing by now. So what do you think? You're here as one thing, or you've spent all of your life fighting to be this or changing to be that, and then you transition and you're just everything anyway. This is another test. If you can't be okay with who you are right now here today, that your soul and yourself chose to be in that vessel because that's what's going to get you through quicker, smoother, or it's a lesson, or it's an experience you've chose to have. But I mean, know that it's going to change in a minute. So I just want to take some of my karma cards for all of us. And I hope it's making sense and it's not a shouting at you, it's a ranty whatever, because I include myself, Christian 21, and everyone else that is mixed up in our intertwined groups and so's that's crossing each other's paths right now. It's for all of us are included in this. Not going to start breaking these down and making your ears bleed, but I will call them out, and let's just give that for you to take and consider. Don't forget, you're coming from being placed on pause because there's something that you as an individual yourself need to get a piece of information, an understanding, an answer yourself, because once you get whatever that may be, it's going to unlock a big chunk and clear up some confusion within you, or it's going to settle you, or it's going to give you something. That's the whole point of this coming forward. That's why this card come out when I was already describing it beforehand. Yeah? And that's the position it came in, that you're going to get that. You will be balanced, you will be grounded, you will be in alignment, you will have inner peace, and you will know how to protect your mental health. And don't forget, we're just talking to those that are these groups that are paths crossing, intermingled and whatever. We're just all talking to each other within this bit. We know that it extends out further and further and further. Yeah? So to get this bit right, it then emanates a huge, huge, powerful energy. We've got mirror effect. So some of you watching this video at whatever time, it's timeless reading, have a karmic lesson or message to contemplate regarding mirror effect. It will mean what it means to you. So it's down for you to explore that on a higher perspective level. It's not about asking people what do you think, it's your own personal thing. You're looking to realign and getting back on track. Message of guidance that can come from anywhere, but you will receive it. It will either be on a personal level to yourself from your spirit team, synchronicities or something. It will be a message of guidance, but most likely it's going to be somewhere random or an unlooked for place of whatever that it comes forward, but contained in it is a message of guidance, kind of like what I'm saying. I'm not including this reading, this is just showing us something, but that is something extra outside of this, outside of where you generally get your knowledge from. You could be driving to work or to somewhere in your car and have the radio on and a snippet of something comes forward on the radio, anything like that. Having a coffee and overhearing a conversation that's nothing to do with it, but within that, it's that type of thing. It's coming on a soul level and you're needing to hear it. This is why you're being told to be open, receptive, listen. They're trying to get through to communicate, but there is a resistance because there is a micromanaging of what, if, when, why, and all of that. This bit isn't yours. It's just you've got to float. You can't be floating anywhere if you're controlling the direction or how and when it will be, you know. I just got to tap back into that. The floating was probably my wrong way to interpret what I was being shown, because you need to be grounded, and that is something that a lot of you you're floating away, like pushing yourselves up to be collected by this magnet, this cosmos and all the rest of it. You need your feet firmly on the ground because everyone's going to be getting a battering of everything, but if we hold tight, it's going to be okay. And it will be. You've got to reach out. If you are really, really like trying to hold on right now and you're not getting heard, then that's why there's other bits. There's support network is available there. It really is. Now I'm talking, not when it all goes down. Education. You know what you know. You've got a lot that you can pass on that is valuable, but you've still got to be open to taking in more. Maybe there is that blockage, possibly because you're at the stage where it served its purpose or it's done what it needs to do. Now you need a top up, or you need a different perspective, or you've got something else needs to fuel you. Your spirit, your soul doesn't get tired. It doesn't get tired. That's not a thing. So if you are feeling drained, you really need to switch or adjust something. Spiritual message. When you're feeling love and light, or that you're connecting to the cosmos, whatever way that you're getting there, if you're not, I'm trying to be careful with how I'm wording this. This is a general reading. From my perspective, I know that by following the spiritual principles, it's not like with a religion you've got to do this and do that, and they're all just structures to guide you away, but it's to get you to, obviously religions, it's whatever, I'm not even going there, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but it is about that tenderness of the heart and helping you to harness the frequency that you're putting out. You've got to put it into practice with those that you interact with, and even more so with those that there's that static, that resistance. There is always a bridge that links you, the two. That's why it's important that people don't get involved in someone else's argument or someone else's fight, because that's a soul thing between whoever it is in that moment, in that time. That's why I'm saying, with the spiritual message that I would like to leave on the end of this reading today, is those that are coming here, you are welcome to chat in the comments. I don't delete comments. If I do, I'm going to tell you straight that I've done it. Everyone is respectful with all opinions. You know where I'm coming from with the messages that I say. I welcome different opinions because none of us do know it all. It's not a mudslinging, a tearing down, or a stealing of this, that and the other to be used against people and whatever. All of that shit stops. And if I see it, I'll be calling it out and all of that. We're past that point. We need to lead by example, and we're not off track as far. It's just this dates, and oh, forget about dates, it's happening tomorrow. After this space that's created, you can go back to thinking that, believing that, waiting for that and whatever, and I will carry on giving myself this space till the end of the year at least, or until any time I'm feeling something else. We know the collapsing of society that's falling down around us, but that doesn't need to be your spirit, your soul does not need to be pulled down with that. If you're feeding into it, you're harnessing and absorbing that energy. That's why you're feeling drained, because that ain't changing. You are trying to separate yourself from that. So stop feeding into it. We don't need war to wake people up and learn a lesson. We're not bringing people into power because they're going to fuck shit up on purpose. It's like preaching to the choir. Why are they needing to do that? There's plenty of ways to fucking scare people. Faster ways, quicker ways. My understanding is this would be quite an element of why stuff's not happening. Feel free to let me know how you feel in the comments below. Just going to take a couple of these just to ground in our energy. Thank you so much to those who have watched and all of your comments, everything. I love seeing them. It helps inspire me to, where do the readings need to be focused? As long as they're helping, and by pressing a like, that lets me know where you're at with it. So let's do this. We have got Number 15, increase your knowledge. Education brings opportunities. Take a course, pick up a book, or find a mentor to teach you what your soul longs to know. Number 44, you will manifest what you need. Express gratitude as if your plans have already come to pass. Trust that your angels are bringing you the assistance you need. And then finally, number 27, regain your focus. Trivial life matters are distracting you from your goals. Archangel Metatron and I are here to help you stay grounded. Okay, collective, there you go. That is your little reading for today. Thank you so much, and yeah, I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.